Welcome to the Tired of Talking podcast. I am your host, Carmen Rozier, and this is the podcast where we talk about all the things we are tired of talking about that we want to put an action plan to. Come to the place where you can rediscover, recreate, and redesign your life. Let's get into it. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Tired of Talking podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Carmen Rozier, and I'm coming to you today with episode 13. Yes, y'all, 13. 13 is my favorite number. 13 is the day I was born. My son was born on the 13th. His son was born on the 13th. My granddaughter was born 2013. One of my kids was due on the 13th, but she came an hour early. But 13 in our family is a number that I say of purpose and of legacy. So when I hear the number 13, I'm excited about episode number 13. And then especially this 13th, I'm dedicating this episode to my firstborn, whose birthday is in a couple of days because it will be September 13th. And so with that, this episode is laying flat dead smack on the concept of legacy. My oldest son has 4 beautiful souls that are my grandchildren. And so I want to talk about this thing called legacy as it relates to our way of life and way of being and the things that we are creating and the things that I work so hard for. My family is my reason why. Everything that I do is for my family and for the legacy of financial freedom, faith, and fitness, and all things abundant. And of course, success and legacy building. That's what it's all about. And so I got into this when I thought of, I'm always in the concept of legacy, but on this week specifically, I had a conversation with one of my brother-in-laws, and he reminded me how important it is for us to be mindful of our actions, our intentions, and everything that we do, because we don't know who's watching. We don't know. I think that it's just about my family and my kids, but he's my brother-in-law. I met him, he was 4 years old. He is 35 now. And a lot of what he was saying were experiences that he has had with me that he has carried into his adult life. Good, bad, or indifferent, they were impressions that I call legacy because he is a grown man and now he's in his family. And there are things that begin to replay. So when we think about that, what I want to talk to you guys about are 5 key concepts when we're thinking about legacy and being intentional. Because what is it, that you want to leave behind? When I sit and do some of the things that I do, I'm very aware that I do this because I saw it being done by my elders. And those are legacy. Those are impressions that they left on me that I am repeating. Thanksgiving dinner. When I go all out like that, I'm channeling the behaviors and repetition that I saw modeled in the women in my family. And then as of late, I've been doing morning walks. I laugh at this because this is something that my aunt, my grandparents, I call them the old people. The old people go for walks, and now I'm going for walks, not knowing, fast forward 40 something years later, that these are pillars of health. So they were leaving a legacy of health because now I'm repeating those. And then my kids are repeating the cycle of fitness and health. And, when I see my brother, he's a personal trainer. Well, I was his personal trainer when he was a kid, and my brother is young enough for me to be his mom. So these are very, very special times. And so speaking with my brother-in-law this week was, it was dear to my heart, but it did drive me more in being intentional about the legacy that I am building and that I want to leave behind. And then that brings me to a point of a weird interaction that I had. I want to say weird, or do I want to say it was a divine interaction? I'm one of those people that I believe sometimes we are entertaining earth angels. So randomly coming out of the gym a couple of weeks ago, there were 2 gentlemen who were sitting up against a wall and they were reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, that's a book that's also in my library. And I just thought it was kind of ironic that these two gentlemen were sitting outside of the gym and they were in the grass, just outside reading, both reading the same book. And so struck up a conversation because that is one of the tasks on 75 Hard, which is to read 10 pages of a personal development book. And so I asked them, are you guys, because we just came out of the gym, are you guys, doing 75 Hards? Just weird that y'all are reading right after your workout. So in that conversation, they weren't. But in that conversation, we got to talking about the book. And then one of the gentlemen just asked me out of the blue, and he's like, well, what do you want people to say about you at your funeral? Now that, question would normally take someone aback and be like, dude, what you talking about? You speaking my death? But that's actually in the book when it talks about, visualizing your homegoing and what it is you have the date that you were born. The date that we don't know is the date that we're going to die, but it is a date that everybody is going to keep. We don't like to think about it, but let's talk about it. It's a date that everybody is going to keep. So the only thing that you have control, because you didn't have control over being born, and you don't have control over dying, but that dash in the middle, we have complete control and dominion over. And that little small hyphen is what your life was. And so what is it that people will say? And then what do you want? He said, what do you want them to say? And that was like very thought provoking, because that is one of the questions, and to revisit. I haven't read that book in years, but what is it that I want people to say? And in my case, it's not necessarily what I want people to say, but it is, what do I want people to do? How do I want people to be? We are human beings. And what is it that I want people to be? And in my family specifically, I want to impress upon my entire family that they can think, be, and do, and have anything that they want. And I want to be the person that models that. I come from a lineage where I remember specifically my grandfather saying to me once that those people, and he's an older Black man. So just imagine that he was born in the 20s, because he was. And he said, those people are never going to let a Black man become wealthy, and let alone a woman. I came from a very traditional family where women had roles and men had roles, and then that was just it. And so when I think of those ways of thinking, and then just that, get an education, get a good job, and work hard until you die, and take intermittent vacations. And that's okay. And that was fine. And it was, a way of thinking. But, as I'm talking about way of thinking, let's get into that first thing, because having a paradigm shift, changing the way of your thinking, will change the trajectory of your family legacy. And because I am being intentional about building a legacy, then I think very clearly about, okay, what is it that I want? Again, what do I want to leave behind for my family? And it's not just money. And when I was talking with my brother-in-law, I know that it is not just about the money, because there are ways of problem solving, ways of thinking, ways of grieving, ways of being married, ways of not being married. There's a lot of things that people are looking at and watching for instruction. And so, and I thank God, for allowing me to be charismatic and influential to other people, but making sure that I harness that energy in a good way. So one of the ways that we want to be intentional about creating our legacy, our path for our legacies, for our families, or just for yourself, what do you want to leave behind? How do you want your dash to be defined for your life? Is that you want to have a clear way of thinking, because your thought pattern is going to take you right into number 2, which is having a vision. A vision is nothing more than the preview that you want to have for the rest of your life. When you think of your life as this, think of, like, Steve Harvey says, like a motion picture. The vision is the previews to what you want your life to be. And the greatest part about that is you can make it be whatever you want. What do you want? What do you want your vision to be? And have a clear and concise vision. And when I say have a vision, to my right, maybe your left, is my vision board. It has all of the things that I desire to have and to acquire, but they're not just things. They're also my thought process and my way of being. There's quotes up there: service to man is service to God. These are my core values, and I need to see those because I have a vision, and that vision is my entire life. That's what I see. Okay. And your vision is not necessarily your final destination, but it is just a huge way for you to see where you want to be. Where do you want to go? How do you want to live? And then the third thing is to have goals. See, your vision, sometimes we get it confused. We say that our vision is our goal, but your goals are milestones to get you to the picture that you see for yourself. So, what are your goals? What is your process for goal setting? And I would say every day, I'm on an accountability call every morning at 6 a.m. and I give a daily goal. So there's something that I am checking off every day. What is your goals? Have a short-term goal, have long-term goals, but have incremental goals that you execute, take action on, check off your list that are going to help you build toward getting to your vision. And the fourth thing is to have your plan. What is your plan? I ask myself this every day. When I give myself an assignment or a task to be completed, now I have to write a blueprint or a step process for how I am going to get that done. And the fun part about this planning process is that all the while that this is happening, I know that people are watching. I know that the little ones are watching. And so when doing this, just keep in mind that your walk, the steps that you're taking on your journey, that is actually a part of your legacy. God forbid, in the news, we hear about people passing unexpectedly every day. And so every day I have to ask myself, and I challenge you to ask yourself, are you giving all that you can give for that day? And if today was your last day, is there going to be something said worthy about you and your life? Because that is the legacy that you live. That is your legacy. And then the fifth thing is to manifest all of those things that you were thinking and visualizing about. That's how you reward yourself. I'm big on rewards and delayed gratification because the reward is my life. The reward is my life that I get to enjoy, that I get to create for myself, that I get to walk out. And so when I ask myself, where is the position, that vision that I want to be, that is the manifestation. That is the outward representation of everything that was in my mind and just living that out. And as I'm speaking with you guys, I hope that this is resting on good ground and that it is giving you some nuggets to move forward on. And it's not even really a long podcast because it's very simple. Be intentional about your life. Maya Angelou said, if you're going to live, leave a legacy, make a mark on the world that can't be erased. So since we got to be here anyway, we here. Let's make it be what we want it to be. Sometimes we get that victim mentality and all these things start happening to us that are beyond our control. That is called life. It happens. There's always things that we don't have control over. But the thing that we do are all the things that I just laid out in front of you. We have complete and total control over how we think about a situation. The situations are going to be what they are. They're going to come. But how are you going to respond is going to be the way that you're thinking about it and how you're processing it. And you can create that to be whatever you want to be. So think positive, speak life, and walk this thing out. And I have more of this. I have so much more to offer and give you. I'm inviting you to join my community. I'm leaving my information here. Please visit my website, www.carmenrozier.com. That's CarmenRozier.com. And I look forward to connecting with you and giving you some more instruction and some more awesome nuggets on how to get to your next greatest best life and how to rediscover, recreate, and redesign your life on purpose. And that is it. I'm leaving you all blessed and highly favored. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I look forward to seeing you on next week. And to my son, happy 28th birthday and happy 28th anniversary to us. I would not be the woman that I am without the experience of being your mother and the grandmother to your children. So with that, be blessed.